Hi, good morning, Tracy. Good morning, Sheila. We are here live again at the BayStar EquiCenter, and standing next to me, of course, we have Mary Jean Vonderbrink, and we also have Lori Sander, two of the instructors that are here, and also we have Booker, who is here, one of the horses that they use for this program, inviting breast cancer survivors out for a really unique experience. And I've got Mary Jean here to talk a little bit about that program. First of all, why is this program so unique? What makes it so different?
Well, what we do is equine-assisted learning and psychotherapy, and it's like taking counseling out of the confines of a therapist office, bringing it here to the outdoors, adding the component of a horse. We work with equine specialists, is what Lonnie and I are, and a mental health provider, and take them through activities with the horse and then the horse will mirror back to them their emotions.
And we're showing some pictures right now of the program and what goes on during the session itself. And then behind us here, we've got some of our miniature ponies and also other horses that are going to be demonstrating later what exactly goes on during this program. Can you briefly explain a little bit about why this came about, why you think this is so important for breast cancer survivors to come out here and try this program?
Well, what it does is it unleashes emotions that they might not even be aware of that they're having. The horse will mirror back any of the human emotions that the client might have. We put them through a task with the horse, and it doesn't matter what the task is, what happens during that task. Because if the horse is mirroring their emotions, they will be able to recognize that in the horse.
So there's actually almost an obstacle course that you'll set up with the horse, and then the breast cancer survivor will be able to walk the horse through that course as almost mirroring her journey through her breast cancer treatment.
What the survivors will do here is they will build an obstacle using these props that will kind of imitate their journey to their through their treatment. So they have built the course.
I think this is just a really neat program. I want to bring in Lonnie here. I'm going to step over Booker here 1 second, and I wanted to ask you, why horses? You know, obviously they're just one of the most majestic creatures, I think, but what is it about a horse and not using some other animal for this type of program?
That's a great question. But first of all, look around, and we're outside. We're in the elements, we're using all of our senses, and so right away you set yourself up for a great experience. Add to that a horse and you have a perfect storm, because horses mirror human emotions. They have a lot of the same emotions that humans have, and when you bring an emotion to them, they show in their body language back to you what you're experiencing, and they could not care less about pleasing you. Like your family dog will do backflips. He doesn't care. Look at him. He could not care less. But and that's the beauty of it, because we ask questions. The therapy team asks questions about what the horse is doing. We say, we noticed the horse walked away from you. Can you talk about that? And depending on what that person's story is, then they create a story for themselves or a metaphor, which in turn creates their aha moment, and they walk away with something very special for just them. So even in a group of 10 people, each person can relate differently, and that is powerful.
So it really is about the emotions and the journey for that breast cancer survivor, and we do want to stress too, this isn't a riding program. They are on the ground at all times.
Right, and you don't even have to like horses. That is an incredible thing. You don't even have to know about them, and if you are afraid of them, we even use the fear, because we're fearful of many things in life, so we use that. So that's not even an excuse.
That's right, no excuse not to come out here and try this. Again, this is a really neat program. We've got a lot coming up. We're going to explain more about what they do during a session and demonstrate with that. Also coming up, we're going to talk with a couple of breast cancer survivors to get their aha moments and what it was like for them to go through this program as well. Again, we are live this morning talking about a really neat program called Taking Control of the Reins. And behind me, we're going to be having some of our breast cancer survivors that have joined us this morning going through the actual steps that they do during the program itself. We have Josie Schuler here and Melissa Johnson that are going to be walking through the horses. The one right here that's walking by is Booker in the black, and then we also have Barley. Those are our two larger horses. We also have some smaller horses as well in the background, and in the very back some onlookers. We always have onlookers wherever we are live. The other two just kind of checking things out, wanting to be a part of the fun. I'm going to come over here to Mary Jean and talk a little bit about the program itself. We've got, again, the breast cancer survivors in the background going through the steps and going through the motions that kind of explain it, if you will, what they're doing right now.
Well, what they have done is they've taken these props, these poles and balls and everything, and built what they would represent to them their journey on their treatment. We have now asked them to take their horses and walk that path with the horse.
Now, you were explaining to me earlier that one of the horses was actually stopped in front of one of the obstacles that they set up beforehand. What then would the breast cancer survivor do, or what does that sort of represent, I guess?
Well, each person will take what they want from it, but let's say you had a horse come up to an obstacle and stop. It might mean to the person holding that horse, gee, I don't want to go forward, I'm a little bit fearful, and that will mirror that back to the client, and the client will then realize their fears and maybe why they're not ready to step forward or take the next step forward. We have these balls here that have all kinds of emotions written on them. That one just pushed a ball named courage. Maybe this client will say, I need a little bit more courage in this path because this horse just pointed courage out to her. And now she's picked up the courage ball, and maybe, what we look at is maybe totally different what the client gets, but this client might say, it's going to take me courage to get over these obstacles that I'm facing. And that's what she's carrying with her with the horse.
And usually during these during the program, Taking Control of the Reins, you have a psychiatrist on hand that is here kind of helping the breast cancer survivors go through some of those emotions. In fact, I have a quote here from a former psychiatrist that used to work with you, psychologist that used to work with you, Bonnie Crawford, and she said, using the props to symbolically represent their cancer journey, then guiding the horses along this journey, survivors can alleviate some of the trauma of their cancer experience and gain a greater sense of control in coping with cancer's impact on their lives. And I think that's a really important statement to say about this program and how it is so unique and such a different experience, going back to what we were saying, where you're not inside sitting down, you're actually outside interacting with these horses.
Exactly, and you're out in the elements. I know it's cold, I know it's windy, but we could do this sometime when it's drizzling a little bit. We do have an indoor facility for really inclement weather, but being out in nature, being out of the confines of an office, working with these amazing animals that are sometimes 10 times bigger than you, really adds to the experience for the client.
And we are going to have much more coming up, of course. We are going to be talking live with two of the breast cancer survivors that are here demonstrating for us. They've been saying, Mary Jean has been saying, it's an aha moment that these breast cancer survivors have, and it really changes their outlook on their journey through their treatment and even beyond that. So we're going to talk with them and see what this program has meant to them. And welcome back to the Morning X as we continue to think pink on this Thursday, the 19th. And again, talking about taking control of the reins. It's a really neat program here. We're live in Ross, of course, and we're going to be talking with two breast cancer survivors now that have gone through the program at the EquiCenter. And we want to start with Josie, actually. Josie, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
A little bit chilly?
A bit chilly, yeah.
Yes. Tell me a little bit about what you went through when you came out here to go through the program. This is Barley, one of the horses that you went through the program with. What was it like to go through the program?
Well, it is like it gives you the empowerment and courage. And these horses are like gentle giants that try to help you to face what you fear the most, especially like with us cancer patients. And the horses feel like they're there leading you the way that, hey, you don't have to be afraid. there is something there out there, and we will go through the obstacles.
Do you think you had an emotional connection with the horse? Is there a time where you'd maybe look in the horse's eye and you can almost see some sort of emotional connection with them?
Yes, there is, and just actually, just this morning, you know, the horse just tried and nudge me to pick up that ball. That's courage, and I pick it up, and he went on our way. So that is very empowering.
Okay, thank you, Josie. I also want to bring in Melissa Johnston, who is with Booker. And Booker was your horse that you went through the program with as well.
Yes, Booker was the first gentle giant, as she said, and he's amazing. He just, there's something amazing about this gigantic creature that sort of bonds with you without words.
Tell me a little bit about your aha moment. What was it about this program that clicked with you?
Oh my gosh. Well, when they had us set up the obstacles, I was sort of thinking in my head, this is going to be my next, chemo that I don't, each chemo, you don't know how you're going to react. You might get sick, you might have some allergic reaction. I watched a woman have an allergic reaction, which terrified me. And I was just thinking, this is the next thing I'm going to go through. And this horse just stepped right over it as though, you can do this. This is so easy.
What would you say to any other breast cancer survivors that are out there or breast cancer patients about coming here to do this program?
Oh, please make the time. It's a little bit of a drive, but it's beautiful country. And again, these creatures are just, you get this unspoken bond just by being near them and them following you. I mean, they can do whatever they want. They said we don't use dogs because dogs want to please you, but these animals have their own agenda, and you just sort of cajole them a little this way and that way, and it's amazing. It's amazing. Please come do this.
All right, Melissa, thanks so much for sharing your story, and Josie for you as well. I also want to thank Mary Jean and Lonnie for being here at the EquiCenter this morning. It is a little cold out here. Yes. A really neat program. We're going to have all the links at Fox19.com. Click on the Think Pink section on the website there. Tracy, we'll send it back into you.
We will, Katie. Absolutely. Thank you so much.